I have surprisingly been having conversations with people in person about the Steam Deck versus the ROG Ally, Legion Go, and everything in between, especially as of late. You know, with the omission of Nintendo's consoles from this year's lineup, we start to ask some pretty specific questions, like, what am I supposed to use? Am I supposed to continue on this Xbox, PlayStation roots? Am I supposed to, just kind of suck it up buttercup and do my best with what I got? So maybe yes. Or am I supposed to venture out to something new, like the portable PC market? Well, one of the very specific questions that I have had asked me multiple times is, why did you choose to maintain your gaming on something like a Steam Deck, which, as far as hardware is concerned, is technically inferior when you could be using a more powerful piece of hardware like a ROG Ally or a Legion Go? And I'm hoping that I can unpack that for you today. First, I want to say that I don't know if I'm getting sick or if it's seasonal allergies, but I have a little bit lower energy today and some pretty intense sinus pressure. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna still stream tonight, but you'll have to excuse maybe the less animated JD that you're getting. That doesn't change the subject. The subject is, why did I choose the Steam Deck? I've covered this quite a bit, but I think that as there's been a little bit of confusion as where I stand as of late because of, changing things around a little bit, I want to re-clarify things. I very much so would consider myself a deck daddy through and through. I'm not a Legion Go stepdad or an Asus ROG uncle. I am a deck daddy. If there's any confusion as to where I stand with the portable PC place, I apologize for that. I wasn't hoping to confuse any of you by switching from getting a PC to not getting a PC and all that stuff. I very much so want to experience PC gaming, but as it stands now, it isn't the right time. Because I, one, don't have a tremendous amount of time to explore something new and build out something new because I don't have I don't have understanding of this thing. I want to discover it someday, but it's just not the right time. Does that mean that it'll never happen? Oh, most certainly not. Hopefully one day I'll be able to explore the joys of PC gaming, but as it stands now, we're gonna keep most of, if not all of the PC gaming on, well, for me right now, the Steam Deck. I chose the Steam Deck for very, very specific reasons. I have used all of the main competitors. I would consider just the two biggies to be the real ones. The three that rule the roost are the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and Legion Go. I believe that those three are really the only true options that are in the mainstream portable PC market. There are plenty of other options that exist, but when it comes to main competitors, I believe those three to be the big ones. Sure, MSI just dropped their MSI Claw, and Aya and Neo is always dropping new things here and there, but the MSI Claw, the decision to use Intel versus AMD seems to be a problem, and we're just not quite there yet. So, in all honesty, I haven't touched it yet and have no intention to. I have renamed myself a portable papa, but I want to clarify what that means. I'm just someone who truly enjoys my gaming to be hybrid, portable, whether it's on a Nintendo product, a Steam Deck, or anything else. I want to find what the best gaming solution is for myself and share it with you through my excitement, right? Well, the Steam Deck was the winner in the portable PC market, and honestly in 2024 for me, because there's a huge hole in the portable gaming space that Nintendo could have filled this year. They decided that this is not the year for them to do that, and so we have another year of the Nintendo Switch. I don't think there's anything wrong with the device itself, but it is clearly and most definitely shown its age even right now. I find myself using the Nintendo Switch more than I was expecting, but it's going back and finishing games that I had purchased either last year or years prior. I'm not really revisiting games that I have already played as much, more rather getting to some of the games in my library that I purchased specifically for my Nintendo Switch. People have asked, would you get a Nintendo Switch in 2024 today? And I would say, well, that's a really complicated question for me to answer. I say yes, based on the fact that, I get to go smoky today. Based on the fact that I have games that I want to play, but if I was new to the system itself, there are plenty of games to play, but if you've waited this long, my question to you is, why do you want a Nintendo Switch? Is it just to play video games? I would suggest maybe, just maybe looking into some other of the portable gaming solutions. Is it because you're obsessed with Mario and you just want to try it again? Because you waited 7 years. Is it Mario that's drawing you to the Switch? Is it the compatibility with your portable lifestyle that you like? Because if I'm being honest, if someone's like, what portable gaming system would you recommend? I most definitely would recommend the Steam Deck. And I've skirted around it a little bit, and I want to give you the first reason why I chose Steam Deck over all of the other ones. And the first, and honestly for me, it's the most important thing, that is ease of use. You see, Steam as a company, or Valve rather, is a company that is specifically designed, or that's not the best way to put it, Valve makes video games available to gamers, right? They don't necessarily make games, but they make the games available to you. And so with the Steam Deck, they're making a device that can run their OS, and the games that they have available, they're trying to make those available to you. I say it that way very specifically because Steam or Valve, I'm gonna say Steam, they're interchangeable in my heart, in my mind. So Valve, parent company, Steam, what we're used to hearing, they create the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck runs Steam OS and allows you to have access to your library of games that you have gotten through the Steam store and all the different stuff. There are other things you can do. You can install different kinds of emulators on there, but we're going to stick to the very simple, very streamlined understanding, the original, or what am I trying to say? The use case, the actual use case of this thing. I need coffee, because that is not what I meant to say. The intended use of the device. It can emulate well. It can run different things like Kiyaki for Deck, which allows you to basically turn your Steam Deck into a PlayStation Portal. I actually have one coming in. Very excited to check it out. I'm very excited how I got it. I, fortunately enough, was gifted it. So this is going to be fun to use. Moving into the Steam Deck, I chose it because of, number one, ease of use. You see, I'm not someone who is super well versed with Windows. Very clear. I am a Mac user. I haven't been using Windows my whole life. I understand it. I'm not an idiot, but I'm just not fully integrated in that space. So the updating of drivers, the fact that hardware doesn't always work off first rip, is something that I am having to get used to. I'm not used to it at all. And so when it came to the other ones, I realized very quickly that they aren't devices that were created to exclusively play video games. They were devices that were created to allow you to play video games. There are plenty of other things you can do on it because it is a Windows 11 device. Now, can you install Windows? I'm not even going to say that. Who cares? We're talking about devices, not what you can do, what they're intended to be used for. On the Steam Deck, it's just simple. I want to play Sea of Stars. I want to play Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order. I want to play Halo Master Chief Collection. All I got to do is boot the device up, select the game, and I'm in it to win it. Now, the ROG Ally, as well as the Legion Go, both can do that, but it comes with a little added complications. They also run SteamOS, because SteamOS, after all, is just, for better or for worse, a launcher. And I know that you can do that. It's just not what the device was intended to do exclusively. Therein lies number two. I chose to stick with the Steam Deck because it is a tool to get a job done. I am a very, very big believer in our devices, our tools. Our devices are tools. Okay? It's tough. English sounds very weird sometimes. Our devices are tools. I want the tool at which I'm using to do the job well. Yes, technically you can use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail. Very possible. The right leverage, proper angle, accuracy every single time, and willing to sacrifice the handle's integrity for the job, it's very doable. And vice versa, you can use the back hook part of the hammer as a flathead screwdriver as long as the screw has a big enough divot in it. All very possible things. But when doing a specific job, you want to have a tool that does the job well. Now, looking at the ROG Ally as well as the Legion Go, they seem like multi-tools. And with multi-tools, you have a plethora of options for you to do plenty of things, right? But what is the number one thing that happens with a multi-tool? It does every job technically, but it doesn't do every job very well. Yes, one of the main jobs of a multi-tool has pliers in it, and those pliers function phenomenally because the very multi-tool itself is designed like pliers. So much like the ROG Ally as well as the Legion Go, they function as Windows 11 machines. But the other things that you can do with them, right? So they can game, sure. Let's say that the gaming part is the pliers. They are able to game and game well. Great, that's the intended purpose of it, okay? But when you start getting into the nuances of it all, what if you need a set of pliers that has an adjustable pivot point? So you can widen it up bigger to have a better grasp on an object. Well, you can try to really open up that multi-tool to try to get around that bolt or nut or whatever it may be. Maybe if you have enough force and enough patience, you can get the job done, but it's more work, it's aggravating, and the tool you are using ends up becoming more of a nuisance than a tool itself. And that's where I found myself with the Legion Go and the ROG Ally. Holy crap, Mario and Luigi, that's an incredible analogy. You hear me, Gohan? That's an incredible analogy. Anyway, continuing on. I feel like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, as well as the MSI Claw, the Odin, whatever portable PC that runs Windows 11 is essentially a multi-tool. Very versatile. Good at doing some things, but other things you just end up falling flat. I mean, look at a Swiss Army knife, for instance. Sure, you can sharpen that blade to be razor sharp, but you flip out the saw and you try sawing a stick in your backyard, and as long as it's no bigger than 1.5 inches in circumference, you might be okay. But if it's 1.5 inches, not circumference, diameter, if it's 1.5 inches in diameter or more, you're gonna sit there for a long time trying to get through that stick. Can it do it? Absolutely. Are you excited that you can chop a stick in half with your pocket knife? Maybe at first the novelty is great, but then once you start to get halfway through that stick and realize that you have to chop 15 sticks, you're like, I'd much rather just have a saw. Or better yet, I'd much rather just have a power saw. When I look at the Steam Deck, I see it as a tool. The tool at which it is used for is to do one thing: play video games. It has the ability to do more, and some people are able to push it into different areas, but the main intention, the main purpose of that device is to play video games. And that for me is incredible. I look at the Steam Deck and I see a power tool, a drill. Sure, you can change out the bits, you can do different things, and you can adjust it, but the point of that power tool is to either put a screw into a wall or drill a hole to do something with it. It is very specific and it does it very well. Maybe even call it an impact drill if you would like to. But that is the very thing that I like about the Steam Deck. It is a closed ecosystem. And for me, who is an Apple user, maybe not closed ecosystem, but you understand what I'm saying, who's an Apple user, who's familiar, and my comfortability and knowledge base is in something that is very well optimized due to the closed nature of it, I appreciate that. And as a father, and this is where the rubber hits the road, and you can argue with me in the comments if you'd like. I'd prefer you to have longer conversation in Discord, which I've decided through the extremely gracious and wildly generous Discord community I already have, who spent all morning yesterday helping me decide in some directions I want to take this place, to open it back up. And the Discord is now no longer behind the memberships. Membership still exists. They help me out a ton, but I'm opening Discord back up again. So the link below will work and get you in without any sort of thing. We are going to close off certain aspects of it, but the Discord's open again. I had the conversation with them about this whole space, and talking to them, there are people in there that absolutely do use other devices, and we can talk about it in there and have an appropriate conversation. But as a father, as someone who has such limited time, limited attention span, and really just looks to gaming to have a brief moment of solace in my otherwise extremely busy and hectic day, I don't want to be bogged down by decision. Or worse yet, the uncertainty of whether or not the device that I turned on hours ago is going to continue to do the job I asked it to do when I turn it on again. That's something that I experienced with the Legion Go. Is there were multiple moments when I went into a sleep mode, and upon restarting the device back up, the battery level had drained significantly, and the game was in a suspended state that was non-optimal. And when I say non-optimal, I mean not working. I had to completely restart the game because there was an issue. Now, with modern day gaming, there's autosave, so it wasn't an issue when it came to progress, but when it came to timeliness and the moment that I was looking for, I was looking to play a video game and I couldn't do it in that moment. I didn't love that. Now, I'm used to the Nintendo Switch. It only does one job. It plays video games. It does it very well, and it does it very easily. I want to get as close to that as possible. And so when I look to these other devices, yes, they're more powerful, but there's the next thing that I find to be extremely important for me as a gamer is, I don't know the exact terms, the power when unplugged. You see, with the Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally, you have a certain amount of power available to you when it's unplugged. You then can increase it and customize it and do it so that it really pushes the boundaries of it unplugged, but you are still going to be bound to a specific amount of power because those devices draw an unbelievable amount of power. Now, can you technically push it to the limit? Sure, but it comes with some additional settings and tweaks that you have to do. Across the board, to date, the Steam Deck OLED runs better and performs better than its two much more performance-oriented devices at lower wattages. It is able to push out a better frame rate, potentially because the maximum frame rate you could view is 90 versus the 120 and 144. Maybe it's because the image is, smaller on a lower resolution. I don't know. But that being said, that is phenomenally important to me for the very reason that I play portably. I do not want to have to consider where I am when I play and if I'm going to get an experience that is pleasurable when it comes to my gaming experience. Weird way to put it. Still did it. And so for me, that ended up being way more important than I was expecting. I need my device to function well unplugged because that's how I play it. I want to have a consistent gaming experience unplugged because that's how I play it. I need the battery to perform well. I need the device to actually do the job it's intended to do, which is play games consistently, portably. And both the Legion Go as well as the ROG Ally suffer greatly in this specific category because of the amount of performance that they have available to you. Just because a vehicle has high horsepower doesn't necessarily mean it's better. And that's how I look at it. The horsepower that's available to you in a vehicle, like I'm not going to do the car thing. I've done it multiple times. I'm not going to do it. Let's just put it this way. High horsepower, extremely insane engine, big, huge, powerful engine, needs lots of gas. Lots of gas means, that's right, you have less runway to drive. More efficient engine, maybe not as powerful, but does well with less gas. You have longer to drive, right? The analogy isn't as good as the multi-tool one, but you understand what I'm saying. Just because there's more power doesn't mean there's more fun. And I realized that as time went on. Now, do I think the Legion Go has something special with the kickstand, the disconnecting controllers similar to Joy-Cons, the different gimmicks that it has in this current state? Absolutely. I think the Legion Go is phenomenal, innovative, and exciting. I love it for what it is. But it absolutely is not my daily driver because of its size, lack of consistency and performance when it comes to the battery, and it is not easy to use for someone who is as simple-minded as myself. This is why I chose it. I think the device is, on paper, better in a lot of ways. It's certainly more powerful, but I'm looking to play video games. I'm a dad who has very little time. I mentioned it plenty of times, and I'll mention it 150 times moreover. I pick up the Steam Deck to play video games. I don't need to do my taxes on it. I certainly don't need a web browse on it. I'm trying to do less and less of that as my life goes on. I don't need to be able to run any sort of applications. Sure, there are browsers available or launchers like the Epic Store and stuff like that, and there's some games that I am not able to play, like Call of Duty or Fortnite in certain areas. Sure, they can be adapted on the Steam Deck, but it's just not native. That's okay. Those games I can just say, I'm going to play them on the PlayStation 5. I do not need to sit down and be bogged down by Helldivers, for instance, for 40 minutes on my couch when I don't know if at any moment's notice, wife, kid 1, kid 2 is going to say, dad or husband, I need help. And so those games that need that performance that I can get on my ROG Ally or Legion Go don't fit my lifestyle. And so that's the final thing, is the lifestyle that I have, the Steam Deck made the most sense. And for a lot of deck daddies out there, I would say, what is that to you? What lifestyle do you have when it comes to gaming? Do you have the flexibility and the runway to play for prolonged amount of times? And if you do, is that handheld style what you want to do? Do you prefer playing Call of Duty or some of these games that you can't play on the Nintendo Switch? Well, certainly not on the Nintendo Switch yet. They want to. On something like the Steam Deck, do you want to play that on the portable mode? Or maybe it'll be just like using a multi-tool and being like, okay, some of the charm of being able to play Valorant on the go has worn off, and I just want to play a game in a more performance-oriented setting with maybe a gaming laptop or an actual gaming rig. I know for me, I've been using this Zephyrus G14, a borrow from my best friend, and that for me is really the right solution as it stands when it comes to PC gaming. Don't know if that's going to be the permanent solution, but I really like the laptop. I like it a lot. And it's because of the flexibility of location. But that's my 2, 3, 7 cents on why the Steam Deck for me won, and until things change with the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, it's going to continuously win for me. And maybe for you. Are you a deck daddy, a ROG uncle, a Legion Go stepdad? What are you? Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you have questions, ask me in the comments, but it would actually be better if you joined the Discord community and asked me there, because I am more likely to have a conversation with real humans on Discord than I am with keyboard warriors on YouTube. Lastly, if you'd like to talk and interact with me, 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, I try to do my best to be here in this place, on this channel, talking to you guys. As it stands now, I am hoping to do that for the next couple of months to see if we can generate a very vibrant and lively community, and I'm very inspired by streamers who stay consistent in their schedules, so I'm doing my best to do so. I am a father and husband. I am certainly not perfect, and there will be nights that I don't make it, but I'll do my best to communicate that with you either through posts or, as always, the most important thing, Discord. All right, my kids are waking up from their naps, and this coffee is running through me pretty quick, so Papa's got a peepo, as I say. But most of all, happy gaming.